So let's go ahead and get into it. So, as everybody knows, especially when it comes to the nephews at Colorado, Coach Prime has been very adamant about NIL, his feelings about it, and how it works in his program. He is not throwing out lots of dollars for folks to. You either want to play and receive the benefits, a gazillion dollars up for you to come to his school. Well, today I was on Fallout Media's page, and he had posted one of the clips from his live where he was talking about this young man who is demanding this ludicrous amount of money up front, and then he's asking for so much money every quarter. He is specifying how much time he gets to stay out on the field. And this is the very thing that Coach Prime and Coach Saban were talking about when they were talking about the things that they don't like about NIL and how it needs to be better structured and regulated, because now these kids get to come in and get to make these outrageous demands. And you're not in the pros yet, son. You may be a really good football player, but you're not in the pros. So there is that. The next thing is, what happened to working towards something? Because if we're treating the kids in college in terms of finances like they are already in the pros, what is it that they have to really work for? You know, the whole point in playing college ball is so you would get an opportunity to go forward and play in the NFL. But if you are a freshman in college negotiating and giving people ultimatums like you are first round draft in the NFL, what what does that give in terms of a legitimate incentive for them to practice hard, play hard, and really do what they came to college to do? There's no longer an emphasis on the academic part of it, because the truth of the matter is that of all the money that they pay you in the NIL, you one injury away from no payday and no scholarship, depending on the campus, and that nobody is talking about. Everybody is talking about, well, we should pay them. They should. I do 100% agree. The NCAA makes a lot of money off of these athletes. Ticket sales, merchandise, events, brand deals. So, yes, I do think that they should be compensated for it. But I was hoping that they amended the rule on a stipend, not where we offering and giving these kids millions of dollars so they can come to the school. They fresh out of high school. They don't even know how to function on their own. And you throwing several $1 million their way, conditioning them for a reality that may quickly come to an end depending on how their collegiate career goes. You've been in college and somebody been throwing all this money at you. Let's say you get injured. Now you're not at 100%. You're not the blue chip player you were when you first came in as a freshman. At minimum, now you 4-star, 3-star. You accustomed to all this money you had because you didn't have the responsibilities you're going to have once you out of school. Now what? So there's that. This also changes how recruiting is done, because the recruiting used to be a coach would come and sit in your living room and talk to you or invite you out to the campus. Now these kids are giving ultimatums. They ain't even coming out to your college unless you're doing this or you're doing that. Like, really? It's insane. Then when it comes time to actually play the game, you so pumped up and pompous that you're not even doing what it is you're supposed to do. So I definitely agree. The NIL, there needs to be something done about that, for sure. Definitely need to do something about the NIL. It's way too much way too much flim flam going on. Way too much flim flam going on. The other thing I wanted to suggest to folks is that if you know someone who is elderly and they need to update their stuff, definitely assist these folks with the stuff they need to vote, because a lot of the elderly, they don't have everything that they need, and outside of a voter registration card or going to the polls with their driver's license and ID, they don't understand some of these other things that are going, which is why I made the video I did. Or the hope is people will get really frustrated and they'll decide they don't want to do it. And then not voting is voting. When you don't vote for your interest, you're voting for the opposition of that. So there's that. Yeah. So definitely go to your voter registration on your for your state and find out when early voting is and what are going to be the requirements, because there's lots of conversation going on, lots of stuff up in the air. Hey, Nicole. Hey, V. Lots of stuff up in the air, and depending on what state you are in, is going to determine what and how voting is going to go down. So there is that. Yesterday, I took a break because I needed to take a break from the files. It was a bit much and it was beginning to wear on me. And so I was like, nope, today, no phones, no live, just get some sleep. So I went to bed real early last night. I went to bed at like 8 o'clock last night. And I slept. I slept like Jenny said she slept from Forrest Gump. I slept. Okay. But I am pleased to report that the state of New Mexico has now launched a formal investigation, and they are now going to investigate the property that Jeffrey Epstein owned, property that he had in New Mexico. They have now launched an investigation on that. The authorities that are in Britain pertaining to Prince Andrew, he is now being brought in for additional questioning. There have been several arrests of other people in other countries who are associates of Jeffrey Epstein. So, in places outside of Washington, D.C., and they are moving on those files. It's not going away. It's actually moving quickly in the other direction. So there is that. I know for certain I don't think I'm going to be going back in those files and looking at them. I've seen enough. It's just a bit too much. A bit too much. So yeah, uh, that's as far as that update goes. Um, I know several teams are still in trade mode. The timeline is ticking down in terms of them concluding any undrafted free agents signings, as well as free agents who have not signed with the teams that they're in. Tyreek Hill being released is definitely making recruiting very interesting. Several of the Cleveland pundits seem to think that that would be a good look for him to come to Cleveland and pair up with Shador. I love the way that they always talk like they don't already have people in place, but I digress. Um, Tyreek Hill is a very talented young man. He hasn't quite juggled his outside life as well as he's done on the field, but that's neither here nor there. None of us are perfect. Do I think he is necessarily going to be the Robin to Shador's Batman? Hmm. I think that the people that they have in the locker room in Cleveland right now, as well as the uh, rookies that Shador started with, I, I think that's a very good place to start. I also believe that they have shown themselves worthy and the chemistry is there. We just need to build on it. Um, I said it last year when the season was in swing. They don't need to go anywhere outside of Cleveland. They really do have everything they need. Now, building up the O line, I definitely think we need to do that. But outside of that, the wide receivers and the running backs that they have, in spring training, everybody stays healthy and they really work at learning the playbook, learning each other, and the chemistry builds, then it will definitely be worth watching. So that's it for the quick updates, y'all. If you're in Texas, early voting is February the 17th through the 23rd. All of those requirements that they're talking about, it hasn't been signed into law. So as long as you have your voter registration card and your ID, you should still be good. If you have the other forms of ID, just because you know how silly they can be sometimes, I would say take those with you. It's not law, but it's still good to have those with you. It's not law, but 17th through the 23rd. Let's get out there and vote, people. It does matter and it does count. All right, I'm gonna hop off of here and get ready for my class. And depending on how I feel, then in case anything interesting comes up later, then I'll log on. If not, then okay. As always, guys, protect your peace, manage your mental health.